AC Milan, a team synonymous with winning the Champions League, have not lifted the coveted trophy since 2007. However, that all changes today. Stefano Pioli has stepped down as manager of AC Milan, and it is time to usher in a new era. And we have been drafted in to restore the Rossoneri to their former glory. Welcome to the AC Milan FC24 Career Mode rebuild. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. Let's see what we're working with now for the first season at AC Milan. On the left, we have Theo and Hernandez. That pairing is going to be with us until the very end of the career mode. I think we are going to need a new centre-back and a new wing-back here. And as much as I love Olivier Giroud, I think it might be time to bring in a new ace striker at AC Milan. So without further ado, let's jump into the transfers and start making some changes to this team. It's sad to see him go, but it was time for Giroud to depart the club. He joined Atalanta for just over £10 million. We actually had a clear out of a lot of the dead weight at the club to try and free up some funds for future transfers. And our first bit of business is done. Diego Dalot joining from Manchester United for just under £40 million. And next up, we found our long-term striker replacement, Benjamin Sesko joining from Leipzig for £30 million. Alessandro Buongiorno up next, centre-back joining from Torino for just under £40 million as well. We also picked up Jorel Hato from Ajax as a long-term replacement for a centre-half. A final bit of business here, Ryan Aït-Nouri signing from Wolves, Algerian fullback coming in as cover for Theo Hernandez. And that's our transfer business done. A very tidy window in our first season at AC Milan. We've also got a fair few players here out on loan for the season. We'll obviously keep an eye on their development, especially Yunus Musa. He looks like a brilliant talent for the future. And this is our lineup at the end of the first transfer window. A lot of pressure on the young shoulders of Benjamin Sesko to lead the line. Let's see how the team is going in January. And heading into January now, we're actually sat second in the league at the midway point. We're still undefeated despite sitting 2 points behind Inter Milan. However, our Champions League campaign was a complete disaster and we don't even qualify for the Europa League either. First bit of business in January is done as Tommaso Barbiga leaves to Juventus for £11 million. First transfer in January, we signed Lenny Yoro from Lille, the 18-year-old signing for £20 million. And next up, we signed a future star in Lucas Bergvall, signed for £3 million from Sweden. That's the end of January here. Let's jump now to the end of the season to see how we fared in the league and in the Coppa Italia. And there is our first season in the books with AC Milan. We ended up finishing third. We were keeping up the pace at Inter Milan for most of the season, but we had a bit of a topple towards the end, but not a bad result, all things considered. In the Coppa Italia, we were able to lift the trophy with a 1-0 win over Juventus in a final, giving us a bit of silverware, or rather goldware, for our first season as AC Milan manager. And obviously, as we saw in January, our Champions League campaign came to a disastrous halt, going out in the group stage. However, we have qualified for next year, so we'll give it another crack then. Look at the development of the squad now. There was some pretty solid growth across the entire squad. Mainan going up to 90, Leao up to 89, Hernandez to 88, Benazir up to 88, and Tomori up to 85. In terms of goals, Sesko did not disappoint in his first season, bagging 19 goals from 41 appearances. Leao got 16 and Loftus-Cheek got 11. In terms of assists, Benazir and Leao both got 10. Hernandez got 7, Loftus-Cheek got 5, and Pulisic got 4. And there we go, the first season in the books. Not a bad season, all things considered. Competitive run in Serie A, a domestic cup win, and all to play for next year in the Champions League. Let's go. And we'll be starting season 2 off with a couple of departures, with both Reinders and Jovic leaving the club, both requesting to leave for more game time. Another departure now with Simon Kjær leaving the club. He's getting to the end of his contract, and at 35 it was time to move the Dane on. Looking at the rest of our departures now, we did say goodbye to Ketlia. He just didn't fit into the lineup and we got a good offer from Juventus. Outside of him, we also said goodbye to a number of fringe players to free up some funds for the team. Looking at the team now, a few areas where we could do with improvement. One being centre half to go alongside Tomori and Buongiorno, and then also maybe a centre mid to replace Loftus-Cheek. Besides those transfers, we could also do with some squad depth. Let's get into it. And with that, we've signed our first player of the window, Sven Botman, the Dutch centre half joining from Newcastle for £70 million. Next up, we bolstered the midfield with the signing of Vitinha, signing from PSG for £90 million. We also completed the signing of Patrick Schick from Aston Villa to provide some cover for Benjamin Sesko. He signed for just over 30 million. At the end of the transfer window, this is now how the team is looking. We're looking stacked in most areas of the pitch. We have some money left in the bank come January if we want to make any further investment, but for now, let's jump into the games. And coming in now to the midway point of the season, we are currently sat in first place, 3 points away from Roma, and with a game in hand. We've been so good so far at the start of the season. It will be difficult to keep the momentum up as we go deeper in the season and deeper into the Champions League. However, hopefully we can grab our first league title on this AC Milan rebuild. And in the Champions League, in stark contrast to last year, we went undefeated in our group. We have been drawn against FC Porto in the round of 16. Aston Villa have also qualified for the Champions League, and they are playing against FC Barcelona in the knockout rounds. Wow. In terms of improvements to the side, potentially a centre-half and a right-back, as Dalot and Buongiorno have not developed at the level we would require them to. We're going to be hasty with our transfers, though. We're going to take our time in January and have a look at what the best options are. And we do say goodbye to a club legend here. Davide Calabria has been with AC Milan since 2015, but he now leaves to Barcelona. We have absolutely broken the bank for this one, but if you want to win the Champions League, you have to be world-class in every position. Welcome to AC Milan, Jeremy Frimpong for £100 million. And final bit of business here as Lenny Yoro joins Newcastle on a season-long loan. And that wraps up our winter business. Let's now jump to the end of the season to see if we can win any more silverware. At the end of season 2, we once again sit at the top of the table. AC Milan have once again conquered the Serie A. We ended up winning just 2 points away from Inter in the end, our bitter rivals. We actually at one point had about a 10-point lead that we started to choke towards the end of the season, but thankfully we were able to push it over the line. We also managed to pick up some minor silverware, winning the Italian Super Cup. Sadly, we weren't able to repeat our Coppa Italia success from last year, going out in the semi-finals to Juventus. And we were actually dumped out of the round of 16 in the Champions League by FC Porto, following a disappointing 4-1 loss away from home. I'm looking at the development of players now. We actually have 4 players who are rated 90 or higher, and all 4 were here when we joined the club. The rest of the players as well are starting to develop nicely as we progress forward in this career mode. Looking at goals now for the season, Rafael Leao led the way with 25 goals, and Christian Pulisic also added 23. Benjamin Sesko from striker added 17 as well. In terms of assists, Christian Pulisic managed to hit double digits, registering 13 assists across all competitions. Benacer hit 7 assists and Rafael Leao hit 6. And that is where season 2 will end. A good season in the sense that we won the league. Disappointing not go further in the Champions League. It's time for one final push in season 3 to win the Champions League. Let's get into it. Here we are, season 3. Looking at the squad, a few spots around the team that we're going to consider upgrading. Centre back here, Buongiorno might have to be downgraded to a backup player. Also, Sesko up front hasn't quite developed past 84, so potentially you have to bring in a good new striker. Outside of that, if we have enough money, potentially on the right wing, but Pulisic has been playing incredibly well. Let's dive in. I didn't intend on selling Patrick Schick this window, however, we got an offer of over 40 million from Spurs, and it was too good to turn down, but we're going to be able to use that money to reinvest into the team. First signing of the transfer window is in. Matthias de Ligt signs from Real Madrid for 95 million, and de Ligt slots into the team there. He's a huge upgrade in that defense. And we have now signed a striker as well. Lois Apendas joins from RB Leipzig for a fee of 80 million plus Pierre Kalulu. It feels harsh to replace Sesko, but we need to make this final push for the Champions League. Plus, Sesko is going to get plenty of time throughout the season to play in those rotation games. Looking at our departures now, we did let go of Terracciano and Colombo, just 2 fringe players to free up some more funds. We also finalised some loan deals for Traore, Bergval, Romero, and Yorel Hato. Even if this is to be our last season, we want to set AC Milan up for success in the future, including these young players. And now that the summer transfer window is over, let's jump into simming the games and get through to January. And as we now make our way into January, this is how the table is looking. We currently sit, and in the Champions League, we got through our group in first place. 4 draws, 0 losses. It wasn't exactly pretty, but we got through. We booked a match with Sporting Lisbon in this round of 16. In terms of improving the team in January, there really isn't much weakness in the squad. The only thing I can really think of is potentially an upgrade on Botman, but we don't really have the finances for it, so we'll have to see what we can do. We've had to dig deep in the bank to make this work. However, we now have announced the signing of Ruben Dias. The 28-year-old joins us from Manchester City for a fee of 41 million plus Buongiorno. He's a 90 rated player. This is the last piece of the puzzle. With Ruben Dias now slotting into our first team, this team is ready to push for the Champions League. We are now ready to head to the end of the season. Let's see if we can cap this year off with another league title, potential domestic success, and a Champions League. Let's go. And we have made it to the end of the season now, and it is another Serie A title for the Rossoneri. AC Milan have lifted the Serie A title once again with an incredible season, well, one in which we were in control for most of it. Unfortunately, we did go out in the semi-final of the Supercoppa. However, we successfully completed a domestic double, winning the Coppa Italia 2-0 over our bitter rivals Inter Milan in the final. And in the Champions League, we have in fact reached the final against Bayer Leverkusen. Our path to the final was far from easy. We started in the round of 16 against Sporting Lisbon, before moving on to Barcelona in the quarterfinals. We then beat Borussia Dortmund in the semi-finals before booking our spot against Bayer Leverkusen in the final. Before we get into the final, a quick look at the stats heading into the final game of the season. Penda ended up being an inspired signing, bagging 31 goals and 41 appearances. Rafael Leao was second on the scoring list with 24 goals. Pulisic with 13. Sesko still managed 9 and Chukwueze managed 7. In terms of assists, Pulisic got 13, Leao got 12, Hernandez got 10. Somehow Mike Mainan got 8 assists. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek managed 6. And here we are at the final then. One last game here. We're starting our strongest lineup. Rafael Leao, Openda, and Pulisic leading the front line. Vitinha and Benassia in the middle. Hernandez, Tamori, Diaz, De Ligt, and Frimpong make up the back 5. Mainan in goal. Let's get into it. And here we are at the end of our journey with AC Milan. One last match for all the glory for the Rossoneri to complete this historic treble. And we are underway here at the San Siro. Home field advantage for us. Let's finish this treble. Leverkusen with an early chance here. Garnacho's driving forward. Well defended from AC Milan. Chance for Pulisic. Tries to find it through to Openda. Openda has some good speed on him. Can he get on the right side of the defender? He can. Onto his left foot. Goes for goal. It's 1-0. AC Milan have taken the lead in the final after just 7 minutes. Luis Openda, the new signing, the new boy, has given AC Milan the lead. Chance for Leverkusen. Quinones is through on goal. Goes for goal. Off the bar. AC Milan, can they clear? They can. We got away with one there. There's still 70 minutes to go in this final. Can't get complacent yet. Verts now for Leverkusen with a chance on the wing. Can he find something? Garnacho in the box. Well defended from Tamori. AC Milan trying to work some space here. Benassia on the edge of the box. Gives it to Pulisic. Pulisic makes a yard of space. Goes for goal. And Christian Pulisic makes it 2-0. Out of nowhere, Milan now lead 2-0. Leverkusen coming forward now. Quinones with a chance to make it 2-1. He has a lapse in judgment for AC Milan, and Bayer Leverkusen have a way back into the game. And that was all she wrote for half-time. AC Milan 2, Bayer Leverkusen 1. Still a long way to go in this game. No changes at half-time for us just yet. Been a cagey second half here, not much to report, but AC Milan do have a chance to break here. Openda into Leao, down to Hernandez. Hernandez with a chance on the wing here, cuts inside. Finds Openda, chance to turn here. Openda gets a shot away, well blocked and out for an AC Milan corner. Theo Hernandez with the corner into the box. Diaz gets up and it's well saved from Leverkusen. And oh, disaster for Leverkusen! A miscommunication at the back, and it might have just cost them the Champions League as Ruben Dias gets the easiest goal of his career. Disaster for Bayer Leverkusen there. Verts now trying to make something happen for Leverkusen, well defended though from AC Milan. As Leao now tries to get a counter-attack going. Leao into Openda. Openda trying to find some space. He's made some space there, and he could be through. Openda's going through. He's got Christian Pulisic. Oh, the pass is awful. AC Milan now trying to come forward and kill the game off once and for all. Leao into Benassia. Benassia goes for goal. That's going to be a corner to AC Milan in the dying moments here. Leao with the corner. Leverkusen can deal with it. I think this is all over now. Leao back into the box. Once again cleared. Once again back into the box. Leverkusen now clear the ball away. And that is going to be all she wrote. AC Milan have won the Champions League. Many question whether AC Milan could ever ascend to the top of European football again, But this legendary side has turned doubters into believers with this historic treble. 20 years on from their last continental triumph, the Rossoneri are once again European champions. Theo Hernandez, who has been here from the start, will lift the trophy, and AC Milan are your 2027 UEFA Champions League winners. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rebuild. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.